As we age well, if our goal is to age well in this second act, what role does place play? Tell me a little bit about where we live and how that impacts aging well.
Yeah, well, I would say the punchline is it's enormously important. There is Dan Buettner. He created Blue Zones, and Blue Zones book came out 20 years ago. Had a Netflix series last year, and looked at places across the world where people live longer, healthier lives, and looked at Japan or a specific spot in Japan and Costa Rica and Greece and so on. Loma Linda, Seventh Day Adventists in Southern California. And what he found in that, and I think he's done a great job of raising the visibility of this, is that you get shaped more by your place than you shape your place.
Hmm.
And so if you want to like change your habits, rather than go through the somewhat painful process of changing habits, in some ways it's better just to go to a place where the habits are already in the water.
Hmm.
And so we can talk about eat your broccoli and getting your 10,000 steps in. Those are important. Absolutely. Those are key things. But if we can put ourselves in a place which helps us uh, do the things, nudges us towards a life that we're looking for, that nudges us towards these healthy habits, we have the benefit, going back to those extra years, of this compounding effect
Hmm.
of the positivity related to these habits. And so, just to get a little more specific, we talked about purpose. And if you're in a spot where people have a purpose similar to the one that you're looking to seek, it just rubs off on you.
Yeah.
We are influenced by our social networks. If our friends are obese, we're obese, more likely to be obese. And if the reverse is true, if our friends have purpose they can clearly articulate, we tend to catch those as well. So you got a purpose piece. The social connection one is huge. We're in a world now where these there's some benefits, of course, of technology. The fact that we're having this conversation over Zoom and can share these thoughts in a podcast form with people across the world, like that's amazing. At the same time, there's ample research that suggests people are having a harder time connecting and being known.
Hmm.
And so being in a spot where you're known, where you know your neighbor, where you've got a challenge or a way to support someone, and you can reach out to them, they can reach out to you, and
Yeah.
there's social trust in that really matters. And then the physical well-being, just being active. I remember I was part of a healthcare conference a few years ago, and they had the foremost recent U.S. Surgeon Generals, and they said, "What's your one piece of advice?" They all said the same thing in one word: move.
Hmm.
So, are you in a spot where you're, nudged towards just healthier lifestyles related to physical activity and sleep and a number of different things in that domain?
Yeah.
And then the, financial piece was so critical. It's not necessarily how much money you have. It's like, what's the peace of mind you have that you're financially well?
Yeah.
And with place, it tends to be one of, if not the leading expense in our lives. And it also may be the most valuable asset, in our portfolio. So e- place, it's like in the air, it's in the water, but for whatever reason, we don't talk about it enough, in my view. Because if you get place right, I'll unpack what place is in just a second. When we get place right for the right place in life, it just makes life easier, more enjoyable, but also improves the probability that you'll be healthy longer. Now,
Yeah.
the reverse is true. If you're in a spot where a number of those conditions I mentioned earlier are less likely to happen, well, you're more likely to be unhappy in that moment, and also
Yeah.
has these adverse effects for you over time.